Hi everyone, welcome back to the Podsmoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Podsmoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament of the Hebrew Bible. I use the King James Version of the Christian Bible to put together the prophecy of Israel from the scattered bits and pieces of testimony from the various prophets of the Old Testament. I wrote it into a book called the Book of Zion. And then I followed the instructions in the manuscript to enact the prophecy, to bring it into being, to make it manifest, so to speak. Now, after I fulfilled every other stipulation to the prophecy, I went to do the final act that I'm required to do, which is to publish peace. And I've done that already on YouTube at Potsmoker's Bible, all in lowercase, in case you're wondering. The entire book is already published there so that you can take up where I leave off when my money runs out and the cable's gone and I can no longer give you these videos. But that's okay. That's as it should be. We're going into our darkest hour. And it's just as dark for me as it is for you. Just as you all are losing your way, so I am losing mine. But that's okay. Because what we are seeing is the final steps in the prophecy. The final steps, I should say, before God returns to earth. If I'm right, if enough of you people understand what I'm talking about and do something about it, 420 next year, we should all meet in York, Nebraska, with our tents ready to be set up. Because the tents are all that we have left to do. After, that is, America destroys itself this winter, which it looks like it's very well on its way to doing. Now, I'm reading to you from the 19th chapter of the Potsmoker's Bible, which contains the 16th chapter of the Book of Zion, and it's called They That Hate Me. I'm going to pick up where I left off, and I'll get on with it. It goes like this. It won't be just Zion that gets restitution from America. Other nations will call foul and lay claim to what is theirs by right. The oil fields of Syria come to mind, as do a million other instances of America taking advantage of poorer countries. The Cold War is a good case in point. All of the nations subjected to American might will soon join the cause of Zion to stand against the corrupt nation that has ruled the world for far too long. America is about to go down. The next verse tells us that this is because of the greed of capitalism that America will fall. The Cold War saw the nations of America and Russia systematically taking over the power structure of the nations, dividing up the world between them. When Russia fell, America quickly took control of the world power, but greed has destroyed them too. It is not the world domination that will undo American power. It is the war on drugs, according to verse 8. It is the Zionite uprising that will destroy America. It is because they choose to rob their own people that they will be destroyed. The people who they abuse at home will be the ones to overthrow them. It is the unlawful theft of our property that is the seed of their destruction as a world power. And it is the self-delusion of the American people that will be their downfall. The American people believe they are great. They being of the Christian mindset, believe they are good people who don't have anything to fear. They are saved by their own self-righteousness. America is great, or so America believes. But they are wrong. They are a people who do very shameful things in the name of profit. In the name of greed, America has cast out its own people onto the streets where they have to beg, borrow, or steal just to survive. America sucks. For what they do to the poor, shame on you. America deserves to be destroyed for the many lives it destroys every hour of every day. Verse 11 talks about the stones crying out and the walls answering. This speaks of a gray ability. All gray and a few gray humans have the ability to sense the events whose energy is embedded in the physical world. We can experience events of the past by touching things like walls and stones. So we can gather evidence from things and people. Things don't lie. The next verse goes on to illustrate the point. Those who use unjust means or shoddy building practices will be found out. The underlying reality of life will tell the tale. A city built on blood will be a violent place, just as a building built poorly will not withstand time. The truth always underlies reality. Woe to those who build a city with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Iniquity or evil practices. America was created by the use of force and by bloodshed. It was created as an act of war, a rebellion. And like a city, it cannot endure because of its reliance on force through greed. Verse 13 tells us again that the great do not want my people to endure such hardship. We labor in the fires. We work hard to endure the hardships of this society. We suffer, but not at the hands of the gray. Those who allow our suffering to go on are the distracted, are too distracted by the trinkets and toys that we produce en masse. Bright, shiny objects that clutter our world and keep our minds so busy with nothing that those in power are able to do everything their evil hearts desire. Verse 14 reminds us that thanks to the prohibition of marijuana, the entire world now knows about the effects of THC and cannabinoids on the dormant gray DNA in the human body. This knowledge was vital to the future of both gray and human. The knowledge of telepathy and its use are vital, making the need for it a worldwide concern. Having been reminded that my people are necessary to the future of humanity, and that society has reason to embrace us as a people, the gray return to the guilty people and their hypocrisy, exposing their true nature and why they should be removed from power. Hypocrisy is the act of condemning something that you are doing wrongfully yourself. To condemn my people for getting messed up on other drugs while you endure the use of alcohol for the same purpose is wrong. If you are to condemn the use of intoxicants for personal gratification, then alcohol cannot be exempt. Either all intoxicants are dangerous, too dangerous to be legal, or none are. You cannot logically argue that having a good time on alcohol is okay, but all other drugs are dangerous. Because we all know alcohol is very dangerous. It is very deadly. I must point out the Me Too Testament in verse 15. The use of alcohol and date rape drugs are pointed out in this verse. Even though I cast part of the blame of rape on the fashion world, I cast 99.9% of it on the male ego and the social ethos. Men abuse women. Men rape women. Men brag about raping women. Men routinely get away with raping women. We as women should not have to dress down or fear getting too drunk or drugged without our knowledge or consent. This passage condemns date rape and drugs used for that purpose. Men are guilty. This, of that, there is no doubt. Verse 16 tells the drunks who condemn drug users that they are to be shamed for their hypocrisy. They will be put to shame for their wrongdoing. For glory, they will enjoy the glory of the porcelain god, the toilet. Which brings us to Isaiah 28, 7 and 8, which becomes Zion 16, 23 and 24. But that have also erred through wine and through strong drink are out of the way. The priests and the prophets have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up with wine. They are out of the way with strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of ornament, and filthiness is so that there is no place clean. Isaiah 28, 7 and 8 addresses the fact that most of my people also use alcohol. We get just as drunk as the rednecks do, the non-drug users, I mean. We too get so messed up that we visit the porcelain god, the porcelain throne, and just like the rednecks, drunks, we err because of it. Alcohol is a drug. It's a dangerous drug to all who use it, Zionite and non-Zionite alike. Which brings us to Isaiah 57, 9 to 14, which becomes Zion 16, 25 to 30. And I do not really have time to go into this. Oh, I can read through it. Okay. And thou wentest to the king with ointment, and didst increase thy perfumes, and didst send thy messengers far off, and didst debase thyself even unto hell. Thou art wearied in thy greatness of thy way. Sayest thou not, there is no hope? Thou hast found the life of thine hand. Therefore thou hast not grieved. And of whom hast thou been afraid or feared? That thou hast lied, and not remembered me, nor laid it to thine heart. Have not I held my peace from of old, and thou fearest me not? I will declare thy righteousness and thy works, for they shall not profit thee. When thou criest, let thine companies deliver thee. But the wind shall carry them all away, vanity shall take them. But he that putteth his trust in me shall possess the land, and shall inherit my holy mountain. And shall say, cast ye up, prepare the way, take away the stumbling block out of the way of my people. Isaiah 57, 9 to 14 returns to addressing America. The increase of perfume speaks of industry and how we have built up our economy as a demigod. It speaks of how America has become a world player, sending envoys in industry out to other nations, trying to dominate the world market, and by doing so, the world politics. May the Great watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm, and may they teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the uniform way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your happiness. Stay happy and high. If you use drugs, you have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote the book. I'm going to say later now because I love you way too much to ever say goodbye.